international activity. Sorry. I want to appreciate each one of you for creating an opportunity to participate in this important international activity in the calendar of blindness spearheaded by Kenya Society for the Blind in our country. I wish to thank the organizers for inviting all the stakeholders to come and participate in the celebration of the use of the white cane by persons with visual impairment. This goes to prove that you are fully committed in your obligation, ensuring that persons with visual impairment are recognized in this country, especially the right of learners with visual impairment to accessing inclusive, quality education. Ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to report to you that the Kenya government is committed to ensuring that every citizen has the opportunity to access and ensure the rights as provided in our laws. I particularly single out the benefits of quality education as a right. This commitment is enshrined in our Constitution 2010, the Basic Education Act 2013, the Kenya Vision 2030, and the National Education Sector Strategic Plan 2018 to 2022. The Sector Policy for Learners and Trainees with Disabilities 2018, among other laws and policies and guidelines governing the provision of education services in our country. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to note that the International White Cane Day is celebrated on this day of October every year. It has given us an opportunity to thank God and celebrate the achievement in promoting inclusive and quality education for all citizens, including those with disabilities and particularly those with visual impairment. According to Kenya National Census report of 2019, there are approximately 350 persons with visual impairment who rely on white cane for mobility in order to access different places. I wish to appreciate the fact that the Kenya Society for the Blind will join the global community in celebrating the International White Cane Day, aimed at instilling public awareness on the plight of the blind, promoting recognition and acceptance of the white cane as a symbol of mobility and independence, to serve as a reminder to the public to care for and accord due respect to persons with visual impairment in our society. The white cane also celebrates the achievement of persons with blindness. Ladies and gentlemen, the ministry is aware that Kenya Society for the Blind since 1956, as mandated by the Act of Parliament, has coordinated and implemented the body of the Kenya Integrated Education Program, working in partnership with the Ministry of Education in Kenya and Sight Savers International, that is SSI, through a tripartite agreement. These have enhanced the efforts toward inclusive education through KIEP, the Capacity of Government Education System, to identify and integrate learners with visual impairment, tremendously increased in regular public schools. The Ministry of Education recognizes and appreciates the role played by Kenya Society for the Blind through KIEP for taking the responsibility of promoting the welfare, education, training, rehabilitation, and employment of the blind, and creation of an environment that encourages the inclusion of the visually impaired persons in the society and promoting the prevention of avoidable blindness. KSB, through KIEP, has also been facilitating learners with visual impairment with assistive devices, that is white cane, scientific calculators, braille machines, PEP kits, braille papers, and support training of teachers in braille as an essential. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate the efforts of the Board of Management of KSB in the general management of the society. I urge you to put in place mechanism of mobilizing more partners so that we can realize inclusive education for learners with visual impairment. I wish to recognize the significant contribution of all our development partners and key stakeholders for augmenting the ministry's effort in the provision of special needs education, that is SNE, in Kenya. Thank you for your concerted efforts and contributions, which I trust have a positive impact in special education in Kenya, special needs education in Kenya. Finally, I wish to thank the partners and KSB fraternity for preparing, organizing, and hosting this function. I think for me, a take-home is the humbling experience that I had when I was blinded and given the white cane to walk around. Of course, there's a lesson that I picked from that experience, which really humbled me, because there are two things that you rely on as you walk around. One is the white cane, which is quite important for you to figure out whether there is an obstacle in front of you or not, and also for the public to notice that you are blind or you are partially blind and you need to be taken care of. And the other thing that probably your trust should rely on is the person assisting you. So I had the chair as my assistant while I was walking. At some point I was not trusting her, but all in all, the assurance that I got from her enabled me to cover the 1 kilometer that I was able to do. So what I'm carrying from this session and the work that we had, and the fact that I was blindfolded for 1 kilometer, the fact that we need to be more aware of people who are blind or partially blind, who require our care, our assistance, and also we probably in future need to look at our infrastructure in terms of ensuring that it is accessible to those who are living with these challenges. With those few remarks, once again I apologize for coming in at this point. I needed to have stayed on to the end, and I wish you all the best as you celebrate this day. Thank you.
Tafadhali, hiyo sio makofi mzuri kwa CAS. Hapana, tengeneza mkono mzuri ya kusema asante, sababu wameongea vitu za maana kutoka kwa ministry, ya kusema ya kwamba wako pamoja, na hata amezungumza kwa wale wote wasikadao ya kutusaidia. 1, 2, 3. Karibu sana kwa mambo mazuri. Piga tena. Next time, ukipata nafasi, karibu tena. Thank you so much, Madam CS, for your good words that you have received. Kwa dakika hii, ningelipenda kwa muda kidogo sana, tuweze, asante sana wale wanatengeneza PA system. Sasa ndio mumeamuka, tulikuwa usingizi kidogo. Now I can hear the voice. Thank you very much. Isirudi chini hata kidogo. Basi kwa hivi sasa ningelipenda tuweze kuendelea, na ningelipenda tuweze kwa dakika hii we recognize also some of the teams ambayo wamefika hapa, ambayo wasikadao pamoja nasi. Ukiangalia Nairobi City County wako pamoja nasi, tupigeni makofi. Tuko hapa na Old Mutual, tupigeni makofi. Tuko hapa na Sport Kenya, tupigeni makofi. Tuko hapa na Safaricom Foundation, tupigeni makofi. Tuko hapa na Beyond Zero, tupigeni makofi. Hawa ni wasikadao kutusaidia. Tuko na Collins, tupigeni makofi. NMS iko makofi vizuri kabisa, ikiongozwa na Generali, na tuko pia na National Council of People with Disability ambayo iko hapa. Piga makofi mingi kwao. Tukikumbuka pia mbele hapa tuko na UAP, tumpigieni makofi wale watu wanafika hapa. Tuko na Lions Club of Nairobi, tumpigieni makofi. Tuko hapa na Kenya Society for the Blind, makofi. Tuko hapa na group mingi sana, hata watu wa IBC wako hapa. Tafadhali wale wanajiandikisha pia wako hapa nyuma, tutawapatia nafasi, na kama hujajiandikisha utaenda pale na uweze pia kusaidika. Ya mwisho, hatuwezi kusahau GAF. GAF pia ni National Government Affirmative Action Fund, kutoka kwa ofisi pia ya Women Rep of Nairobi, Honorable Esther Passaris. Wameleta white cans pia, na hata chakula alikuwa anatuletea tayari. Hiyo lori iko hapo imetubebea chakula kwa watu wetu ambaye pia watabeba wakienda kukula siku ya leo. Tumpigeni makofi pia. Niko na watu wa NHIF. Ukiwa hapa, watu wa kujiandikisha kwa kadi ya NHIF pia wako hapa, tumpigeni makofi mbele yao. Tusije tukasahau vaccination. Siku ya leo, Madam CAS, tuko hata na madaktari wetu hapa ya kufanya vaccination kwa hii mambo yetu ya corona. Tiko dawa pale tayari, nimeshaona watu kadhaa wanadungwa sindano. Tafadhali pale popote ulipo, usikae na watu na wewe hujadungwa, ili tuweze kumaliza hii janga ya corona. Tumpigeni hao madaktari makofi. IRA pia tuko nao hapa, asanteni sana kwa kufika. Basi tukiwa tunaendelea, tafadhali our CAS hata kama ataondoka, tungependa sasa kukaribisha mnenaji moja kutoka kwa IRA, kama yuko aidha director yao kama amefika, aweze kusema machache. IRA kama kunaye hata mtu yote ambaye umerepresent IRA, asante sana. Ako. Oh yes. Let me sanitize.
No, only one school. Koyonzo, yeah. Sawa. Bring the assistive devices. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we want to request the CS to make a presentation to one school of the assistive devices for learners with special needs that are being given by Insurance Regulatory Authority. So 12 schools have been identified, but we will want us to do the presentation to one school alongside IRA and the CAS and Koyonzo Special School. So the representative for Koyonzo will come, and the CAS with IRA will hand over some assistive devices to that school, and then the rest of the assistive devices will be launched later as it appears in the program. Thank you very much.
Then Koyonzo is already here, Bwana Director. Haya, sasa tungelipenda Madam Koyonzo here, stand next to the director here. Director holds also together. Na picha mzuri kabisa wakipewa. Tumpigeni makofi tafadhali. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful pictures are going on. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Asante sana. Haya. Basi Madam utaketi tu, alafu pengine itafanywa baadaye. Thank you so much. Thank you Bwana Director. Yeah, she's the director. Basi wakati our CAS is going, tumpigeni makofi tafadhali kwa kuchukua nafasi yake mzuri na kukaa pamoja nasi, na wakati hii anaenda tunashukuru kabisa. Wakati huu ningelipenda tafadhali James Kago, Mr. James Kago, if James Kago is there, we want also just to hear why we are here. Tafadhali, ili tujue ya kwamba tuko hapa kwa sababu gani, kwa muda kidogo ili tuendelee. Bwana Kago, thank you.
Thank you, Bwana MC and the lady MC. I want to recognize the presence of our distinguished guests, and I'll start with the immediate CS who just left, Her Excellency Honorable Mumina Bonaya from the Ministry of Education. She was also accompanied by the Director Special Education, Banahaga. We have the national, the chair of the National Council of Persons with Disability, and we have IRA represented. I just first wanted to read, and all protocols observed. I wanted to read, before I say why we are here, I wanted to recognize all institutions or organizations that have made this day a success. Allow me to start with IRA, who are actually the biggest supporter of this day. They have donated assistive devices, and we'll give them an opportunity to 15. Sorry for that. IRA, together with KSB, identified 15 schools of visually impaired persons or learners, and they're going to support those children with assistive devices across the country. We are also privileged to have the national government affirmative action, who, through their support, we are going to support families with food bags, white canes, and also assistive devices like crutches for persons with visual impairment who also may be manifesting physical disabilities. We have National Council of Persons with Disability who are together with us here, and today they are also facilitating the recognition of persons with disability by joining this day to stand firm with us. We have National Fund for Disability of Kenya who are supporting this day by giving assistive devices such as white canes to over 100 visually impaired persons. We have Safaricom, who in their generous way have committed to give or to donate 2,000 white canes to visually impaired persons to be able to, to assist them with their mobility. G4S have stood with us. They have given us the security guards who worked with us, but also they have been generous enough to support the event. UAP Old Mutual donated over 100 white canes. They are represented here. We'll give them an opportunity to say something. Kenya Institute of the Blind has been very instrumental also in carrying out rehabilitation for persons with visual impairment. ESLO, who are also represented today, support us with opticals that we use for very low vision and also for readers. NMS and City County, without their support, would not have made this day a success. They are currently, or they are giving us vaccination for persons with disability. I also urge all of you, take a moment to have yourself vaccinated. They gave us the Johnson & Johnson's vaccination that you only require one jab. And the City County also gave us free waiver, or the waiver for all licenses that we are supposed to incur. LSK also represented in this forum. Salus Okuli, an organization that is supporting VIs through screening, they have donated white canes to this particular event. We have National Police Service, of course you've seen their good work, guiding us across as we were coming to this venue, and they are still continuing to provide security. This event would not have been successful without the support of Sports Kenya, who have graciously given us this venue for free so that the visually impaired could actually celebrate this day. We have Sight Savers who have joined us today. They have been very instrumental in supporting education of visually impaired persons. Kenya Medical Training, they train for us the healthcare workers who support VIs and persons with disability across the country. We have National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, who are part of us today. KISE, Kenya Institute of Special Education, who've been training our students across the country, and also trainers of VIs. Huru Lions and Youth Kenya, who are part of the Embracing the World Kenya, have also graciously supported this event by donating white canes that will be used by VIs or visually impaired persons. I also want to recognize the National Hospital Insurance Fund. This partnership with NHIF has been something that we've been chasing for as KSB, and today they are here to ensure that every member who is here is enrolled on the onto the digital platform, so that anytime you go to hospital to seek services, it is easier for you to be identified. Lastly, we have Kenya Society for Deaf Children, who are also represented, and I also want to recognize the presence of the Secretary General of Paralympics, Bwana Kennedy Dungi, who is part of us today. I also want to let you know that this event, the International White Cane Day, is celebrated every 15th day of October to mark the special day, or to celebrate the achievement that the blind or visually impaired persons have achieved over time. And we also recognize the partners that we work with every year who make mobility and accessibility by visually impaired persons a possibility. They make it this day, and you've heard that many organizations that I've talked about today are giving white canes, which we call the eyes of the blind, or the eyes of the visually impaired persons. So today, we are celebrating the visually impaired and the organizations that make mobility and accessibility by visually impaired persons a success. And we want to recognize you and say we really appreciate your support, and we look forward to working with you in the future to make the lives of visually impaired persons a possibility, and they're able to access their day-to-day lives. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Makofi mzuri sana kwa Bwana James Kago. Ametueleza vizuri kabisa mbele ya director na watu wote wale wasikadao ambayo wanafanya nao kazi. Hatuwezi pia kusahau Madam Chair Angela Wasike, ambaye pia ndio anashughulika sana na kuhakikisha kwamba mambo hii yote ya mipangilio iko sawa na kila kitu iko sawa sawa. Ningelipenda Madam Wasike aweze kufika tu hapa mbele, kwa wale ambao wamjui pia na yeye apinue mikono asalamie tu kwa machache. The chair lady, please. Thank you so much. Tumpigie Madam makofi tafadhali.
Yangu ni machache kabisa. Yangu tu ni kuwashukuru kila mtu amefika leo. To thank everybody. I'm truly humbled, and to welcome everybody today in celebration of this special day for the visually impaired, the White Cane Day. Karibuni sana.
Halo, tumpigie Chair Lady makofi tafadhali. Basi kabla sijaenda kwa high table pia kidogo, ningelipenda sasa niite mkubwa wa Safaricom ambaye msikadao mzuri kabisa na kutusaidia. Kama yuko karibu aweze kusimama. And remember ya kwamba Safaricom also has given the society almost 2,000 white canes. Tupigeni makofi tafadhali. Kupata hiyo white canes ni ngumu sana. And I want to tell you one thing. The meaning of this white cane is the eye of the blind. This is the way, and the first time the blind started knowing that they are able to do their things without being supported. Piga makofi. They know they can walk, they can move and they can do everything with that. And you can see we are receiving the white canes hapa kutoka. Basi ningelipenda sasa nikikaribisha watu wetu kutoka Safaricom anakuja aweze pia kutuongelesha kidogo hapa kwa dakika hii.
Hamjamboni nyote. Good afternoon, everyone. I can't hear you. Good afternoon. How are we today? Happy International White Cane Day. Yeah, my name is Jane Amunga from Safaricom. I'm with quite a number of my colleagues here. Probably they could just tell wherever they are. Apologies from our leadership. Our Chief Human Resources Officer, Mr. Paul Kasimu, was supposed to be here. He sent his apologies. And so does our Head of Department for Acquisition, where Diversity and Inclusion falls, Mr. Peter Njoka, as well as Tabi Kyoko, the Senior Manager for Diversity and Inclusion. As you know, it's a busy day and we are having engagements all over, so they're not able to come here. So I wear those big shoes today. We are grateful to be here today and honored to be part of this celebration. And so, as has been said, we have a small donation of white canes that we are going to hand over this day. Thank you.
Tafadhali tuchukue director aweze kupokea the canes. Wapi bwana Kago? Chair, thank you. Madam Safaricom, hatutaki kusikia ati tumeleta kitu kidogo. 2000 white canes ni kitu kidogo. Hebu tupige makofi mingi ya rasharasha. Thank you so much. Kabisa. Now here we are. Songa namna hiyo. Very good. Direct. Alright, sasa ndio hiyo mnaona kwa macho mzuri director na chair here na bwana Kago wanapokea 2000 white canes. Tupigeni makofi tafadhali. Safaricom Foundation hapa wako sawa kabisa, and we say thank you. Hiyo ni makofi imetosha kweli? Asante, piga tena. Asante sana. Thank you so much. God bless you. Asante sana. Haya ndiye white canes ambaye tumepata, ni mingi sana kutoka kwa Safaricom. Thank you so much. Ningelipenda pia wakati huu kwa hii muda, sababu najua tutaki kukaa sana na watu wetu pengine wanaenda mbali, ningelipenda mkubwa yote kutoka huko inaitwa Old Mutual, ningelipenda nikaribishe bwana Paul. Paul was around. There was Paul, but the Old Mutual, please, if there is any leader of the Old Mutual to come and also talk to us. Thank you so much. Tumpigeni makofi tafadhali. Thank you.
Thank you and good afternoon all. My name is actually Eric Njagi, not Paul. But I'm here on behalf of UAP Old Mutual, sitting in for the MD. Unfortunately, he had a pre-engagement. So I'm here on his behalf. I'll just say a few things with respect to the event. So on behalf of Old Mutual, I take this opportunity to appreciate the Kenya Society for the Blind for inviting us to participate in this precious important event. And as UAP Old Mutual, as you probably know, we are a leading integrated financial institution providing services in East Africa with presence in Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, South Sudan, and Kenya. The group provides investment savings, insurance, and banking services to meet our customers' financial needs. UAP Old Mutual Foundation implements sustainable social responsibility initiatives for the for the Old Mutual Group, which includes Faulu Microfinance Bank, with a focus of financial well-being, health, and environmental conservation. So, Old Mutual and KSB have been partners for a long time in areas of health and education. Together, we have implemented successful eye screening and treatment projects for 5 counties, as well as provided assertive learning devices to schools in counties. Today, UAP Old Mutual Foundation is proud to join all the organizations represented here today in contributing to the good cause of the white cane. Our vision is to be our customer most trusted lifetime partner, passionate about helping them achieve their financial goals. We invite all of you to talk to us today for an innovative financial solution. And with that, I would like to present a check that we've given to the KSB organization.
Haya, Bwana Director, Chair, please somebody go help the Director. Chair, please come. There is a check here to be presented to you. Chair, Madam Chair. Thank you so much. Very good. Madam Chair, we need you here. Very good, very good. Tengeneza mkono mzuri, tengeneza mkono mzuri. 1, 2, 3. Ra, tena. Now it is Old Mutual. The payment to KSB 100,000 Kenya shillings. The check number is there, the code and account, and signed. Tafadhali tupige makofi mzuri ikikuja kwa ofisi ya director. Thank you so much kwa Old Mutual. God bless. Thank you. Thank you director, karibu kiketi. Thank you so much. Tunaendelea mzuri. Tukiwa tunaendelea namna hiyo, ningewaomba tafadhali, ningependa, niko na watu wa NHIF, please. NHIF representative to at least tell us something. Thank you so much. Madam is coming. Tumpigeni makofi tafadhali.
Nawasalimu nyote hamjambo. I greet you all. Good afternoon, everybody. Mine is going to be very short. I am here representing the CEO of National Hospital Insurance Fund, the primary driver to universal health coverage in Kenya. UHC is all about making sure the citizens access the healthcare they need without necessarily, which is affordable without catastrophic expenditure. Catastrophic expenditure implies not running into poverty, not having to sell their lands, their goods, and many other services in order for them to afford healthcare. So I will quickly go into the speech, even as I thank the organizers today for giving us this opportunity. will be able to join them as a matter of corporate engagement, stakeholder liaison, as well as communications. Our tent is over there. Please feel free to have an opportunity for questions and answers. Biometrically register yourself so that you can protect your account against all fraud. Biometrical registration also implies that you will not have to necessarily use your NHIF card, or you will not require it physically when you visit the healthcare providers that we have empaneled with us. So I will quickly go through the speech from the CEO today, who has sent his apologies. He was unable to make it because of parallel engagement. I am delighted to join you today in absentia to commemorate this important day, which is celebrated across the globe to create public awareness on vision impairment and blindness. Commemorating this day has contributed to the social acceptance of the white cane as a symbol of mobility and independence of people who are blind, enhancing public awareness of the plights of blind and celebrating the achievements of persons with blindness and also persons with disability. NHIF recognizes the effort by the Kenya Society for the Blind in serving all Kenyans who are at risk of going blind, people living with this disability, with visual impairment, by promoting their welfare, education, training, rehabilitation, and employment. Above all, by creating an environment that will encourage the inclusion through universal health coverage agenda of the visually impaired persons in the society and promote the prevention of avoidable blindness. World Health Organization reports that at least 2.2 billion people have near or at distance vision impairment globally. At least 1 billion of those cases could have been avoided or prevented and are not even yet addressed. The report further shows that the leading cause of vision impairment and blindness, includes cataract. Locally, statistics show that 350 Kenyans use the white cane. The government of Kenya, as you all know, through the Big Four agenda, number 3, has committed to ensure that all citizens can have access to quality healthcare services without suffering financial hardship, which is universal health coverage, by promoting healthcare in the Big Four agenda and reaffirming its commitment of UHC. NHIF has been identified as the primary vehicle to do this. NHIF membership ensures that people do not have to suffer in silence and fear seeking services in hospitals due to high cost of care. For example, NHIF has collaborated with the State of Social Protection under the Ministry of Health to provide a cover for people living with severe disabilities under the Healthcare Subsidy Program, HISPS, that is funded by the government, where they do not have to pay premium but are actually facilitated and sponsored by the government. In order to achieve USC, they would therefore require mandatory contributions for those who can afford to pay, and for their health insurances, and those who cannot afford to pay to be identified and supported. UHC vision is leaving no one behind. The government has further identified and supported an initial 1 million households in the universal health coverage upscale who will access medical cover through NHIF. Those households are 20% of the 5.1 million identified poor populations in the country. As I conclude, I urge all stakeholders present here today to continue engaging and empowering people and communities about eye care needs, importance of healthcare insurance, and create a conducive environment for people with blindness, people with visual impairment, and above all, people with disabilities who can have access and enjoy all the benefits accessible to everyone. Thank you all, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Asante sana.
Haya, asante sana. Tumpigie makofi tafadhali. Tupige makofi mzuri. Na hiyo imetoka kwa NHIF ambaye ni moja ya mambo ambaye president wetu ya nchi ya Kenya anaongea kuhusu mambo ya matibabu. Kwa wale watu wetu wote ambaye wako hapa, wakina Jared, ningeliomba kulingana na order, tungependa chakula yote iweze kuletwa hapa mbele. Chakula yote, wale wote wako kwa gari, tulete chakula yote hapa mbele. Asanteni, mtusaidie. Alafu tutapeana ile tabaki, director najua vile atapeana watu wake. Ningeomba tafadhali kwa dakika hii niwajulishe kwamba tumepata wageni wengine wawili. Honorable Lester Passaris, the Women Rep of Nairobi, amefika. Tupigeni makofi tafadhali. Thank you so much for coming, ma'am. Pia tumepata director wetu ya Health Services ya NMS, Dr. Oluga, pia amefika. Tupigeni makofi kwa viongozi wetu. Thank you so much. Dakika hii ningependa kuchukua nafasi hii niweze kuita, ninaona watu wanapangana nyuma, pengine kuna program moja ambaye hatujaelewa. Tafadhali mtujulishe. Okay, napata habari ya kwamba through the director, wale watu wetu ambao wamesimama pale, tungelipenda mheshimiwa waweze kupata chakula kwa alafu waweze kuketi. So ningelipenda Honorable Lester Passaris, the director and daktari, tukuje mbele kidogo, wamesasimama tuwapresentie chakula ili wakienda kuketi inakuwa sawa. So chairman, na wewe pia kuja. Let us help. Yes, Bwana Kago, help the director. Daktari kujeni. Dr. Haga, please. If you are in, please come over. Yes, chairman, come. Basi mpinduke namna hii sasa, watu wetu wa press. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. No, they are bringing. Sasa ningelipenda tukae tusimame vile tuko na mandugu zetu na madada zetu ambaye wanaona tafadhali na wanasaidia watu wetu. Ningelipenda mutasimama karibu hapa wakati mheshimiwa na director wanapeana chakula. Ama ningependa wakuje, ama we can take to them. I thank you so much. Director pia pewe, shika tu hata mbili. Shika tu mbili director. Thank you, chair lady. Take a few, chairman, take a few. And we continue. Nyinyi msimame tu hapo vile wanakuja. Thank you. Saidia chair kupeana. Yes. Kago, saidia. Yes, chairman, you continue giving. Yeah, kwa hiyo mfuko ya chakula ningependa kuwajulisha kwamba iko ngunga ya ugali, iko maragwe, iko mafuta, iko hata unga ambaye ni ya uji ya kufanya watu wetu wasikie vizuri. Shikilia tu na usiende kuketi. Peana tu, saidieni Jared kupeleka pale. We will come over and help. Yes. Yeah, let this church lady continue picking. We go.
If they get, they can go and sit.
Someone, you continue giving them. Yes. No. Haya, basi wenye wamepata chakula tunaweza kwenda kuketi, alafu tupatie nafasi wale hawajapata. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Asante sana, nashukuru. Endeleeni kupatia director more and more food. Akiendelea kupeana, mheshimiwa pia pale anaendelea kupeana chakula kwa Dr. Haga. Patia Dr. Haga hapa chakula huyu. Na peane ingine. Give him another one. Yes. Then let him take to, ongoza yeye. Thank you very much. Wewe ambao utachukua chakula tafadhali keti tu. Simama tu vile umesimama. Chakula inawakujia. Thank you very much. Wapi? Na chakula ujue ni ya walemavu wa macho. Mimi nataka kuwajulisha ya kwamba hii wiki mzima tumekuwa kwa system the whole week kufanya surgeon kwa walemavu wa macho. Wale wamepata nafasi, walikuwa na cataracts, wameona watu wengi sana pale Udhiru Mutua Health Center ikiongozwa na Honorable Pasaris pamoja na Bwana Manish na wadaktari wetu wa NMS together na madaktari wengine kutoka Paris wametufanya watu wetu wameona vizuri, wale bado wako na uwezo wa kuona. Tafadhali usichukue chakula mbili, chukua tu moja. Asante chairman, pigeni chairman pale akipeana chakula mzuri. Thank you so much. We want to thank you the team. Chair lady, thank you. Continue. The director has finished. Thank you so much. Peana hizi chakula ambayo iko hapa kila moja. Kwa nini hizi ziko chini? Give them. Peleka pale mbele. Kwa mheshimiwa pale. Kwa kila mtu apate chakula. Chakula ni ya walemavu wa macho. Asante sana. Tuendelee namna hiyo.
Wamepata wote. Kuna huyu. Wamepata. Wamepata wote.
Asante sana, tunaendelea mzuri. Tafadhali kisha pata chakula, nenda ukaketi. Asante sana Joe usirudi, endelea kusaidia. Hii white cake itabaki hapa, lakini chakula kwanza. Shika chakula moja, kila moja achukue chakula. Imetoka kwa ofisi ya Women Rep of Nairobi through National Government Affirmative Action Fund. Yes, sasa wale wameshapata, tafadhali tuketi, na chakula ambayo imebaki tutaendelea kupeana huko ofisini mwenu. Usiwe na wasiwasi sababu watu wengi hawajafika hapa. Ninaona mheshimiwa anaendelea vizuri, daktari amepeana. Thank you very much daktari. Tafadhali mambo ya chanjo inaendelea. Tafadhali tusiwache kukosa kuchanjwa, tuendelee kuchanjwa kabisa. Na pia tuko na IEBC TET pale nyuma ya dais, mnawaona. Tafadhali kama wewe au fanya mambo ya registration ya kupiga kura, enda pale uweze kuwa register. Tunawaomba tafadhali. Thank you so much. Asante. Tuko na watu wa IBC pale nyuma, tafadhali wasikuje hapa na wakose kuregister watu. Chakula sasa, ngoja hiyo ambaye tunataka baadaye tupeane. Mtu yoyote wa Paralympics ambaye iko hapa, tunapata habari ya kwamba hakikisha umeenda pale ukapata chanjo. Mtu yoyote wa Paralympics ambaye iko hapa, wekeni chakula, wekeni yote hapa. Yes, watu wa bandi, mheshimiwa, watu wa bandi ambaye tumetesewa ngoma hapa mheshimiwa, na all the blind people, na wapia watapewa chakula saa hizi. Mtu ambaye anawaongoza tafadhali watuoni. Ni wewe. Very good. How many are they? They are 14. Basi Jared come here. Jared come. Wapi Dano Minjo? Dan. Isi nataka 14. iende kwa ile gari, the band, 14 of them. Make sure they are 14 and hand them over to this gentleman. 14. Thank you. Hiyo lori. Asante sana. Ili watu wetu wa band wakienda nyumbani wasikose ula. Thank you. Make sure there are 14 bags. Basi tukiendelea namna hiyo, we want to thank you so much mandugu zetu na madada zetu ambayo wamefika karibu sana. Mheshimiwa, sasa uketi, tuendelee. Hiyo ni ya watu wa band yetu. Haya basi, tukiwa tunaenda, hakikisha ni 14 14, chakula 14. Basi ningeliomba sasa National Fund for the People with Disability, someone to represent them to say a word, please. The National Fund for People Living with Disability, please. Yes, do we have one? Sharon, Madam Sharon, for the NFP. Very good. As Sharon is coming, I want someone to talk about NEMA. NEMA. If you have a team of NEMA, please. Someone representing NEMA. Please, these are the people that are really working closer with KSB. Na tungependa wakose bila kusema kitu. Asante sana. NFP, Sharon, if you are around, please. And if you are not around, my program will not come back because I am moving ahead. Sharon from NFP. Very good. Then if Sharon is not in, can I have someone from NEMA? NEMA. NEMA is so important because they are also working very closely and they also promise to bring some white canes. All right. Basi nimetisha hawa ya kutosha, wacha niruhusiwe na chief guest tuendelee. Kwa dakika hii, kwa muda tu kidogo, mniruhusu niweze kuita Director of Special Education from the Ministry of Education, Dr. Haga, just to say a word. Tumpigeni makofi daktari. Karibu sana daktari. Ni NEMA. Sasa kaeni ngojeni hapo.
Thank you. All invited guests, including those who have already left. And I'm glad because my boss, the CAS, Madam Umina Odana, had spoken earlier and therefore delivered the message of the Ministry of Education. However, I want to welcome all those participating today to celebrate to join together in the celebration and observation of this special day, the International Day of the White Cane, and to request all of us to join in recognizing the importance of the day and the importance of the white cane. As the Ministry of Education, like my boss had said, we are happy to ensure that all learners with visual disabilities in this country are able to access education and be supported until the completion and transition to the other levels. So I want to wish everybody a wonderful White Cane Day and assure you that the Ministry of Education will always ensure that all children and youth with visual disabilities in this country are able to access education. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much daktari. Tumpigie daktari makofi tafadhali. Thank you so much daktari for your wise words. At the same time, ningeliomba kwa dakika hii kama ninaweza kuruhusiwa basi ningependa pia niite Dr. Gichangi ambaye pia anatoka MOH aweze pia kutupatia habari moja mbili. Hawa ndio wale watu wanashughulika sana kwa mambo zetu za matibabu, na hata wakiwa na walemavu hawa ambaye hawaoni, wote bado wanataka matibabu. Bado tunataja kabisa mambo ya chanjo, iko hapa mbele. Tafadhali kama mtu anataka kuchanjwa na bado aende pale, na nyuma hii tent tuko na IEBC. Thank you so much. Daktari, karibu.
Thank you very much, our Master of Ceremony. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. My name is Dr. Michael Gishangi. I'm an eye doctor working at the Ministry of Health, and I wish to bring to you the message from the Ministry of Health. I must say that our Chief Administrative Secretary had planned to come, but as it is now, it seems she may not be able to make it. Having said that, as an eye care practitioner and from health point of view, I would want to say that in the last World Health Assembly of February this year, World Health Organization recommended that we embrace integrated people-centered eye care, talking about eye health promotion, prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation. Yes, we also recommended that we use different sectors of government, not just health, to deliver health. This is what we are doing, and we also know that it is possible to rehabilitate people who are irreversibly blind, for them to be able to perform optimally and engage into economic activities. Those are my few technical statements, but then I want to read the speech from the Chief Administrative Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Mwangangi. So, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy and glad to be here today with the rest of the world commemorating the International White Cane Day. I'm aware worldwide that yesterday we were commemorating the World Sight Day, where we called upon all citizens to love their eyes and get their eyes checked once every year, or when, even when they have their full sight. These 2 days are very closely related and remind us of persons with vision impairment, their challenges and opportunities and their potentials too. The International White Cane Day, with disability can access their own environment, transportation, and the public facilities. In addition, they should enable those who live independently be included in the society and choose even where they would wish to live. The Convention also recommends that the visually impaired should be enabled to access mobility aids like the white cane and the required skills to use it. In Kenya alone, we have about 250,000 people who are blind, but out of these, about half of them could be treated easily and sight restored. We talk of about 60,000 of them who may be irreversibly blind and would benefit from, among other things, use of the white cane. Among these are school-going children who need to be enabled to access schooling for children and for adults' engagement in other economic activities. The government of Kenya significantly is making significant efforts towards meeting the recommendations of the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability. We have adopted traffic lights with sensors which alert blind people when it is safe to cross the road, develop access routes and paths for persons with disability so that they may not have to use stairs and also using brightly colored markings on the exit and entry to buildings. As part of universal health coverage, we shall provide integrated health services which include rehabilitation in our context of today for the visually impaired. We are engaging the National Hospital Insurance Fund to work, among other things, on how we shall finance training for the visually impaired on orientation and mobility as a health intervention, and provide vision devices including the white cane, among other interventions. The Ministry of Health is in the final stages of developing policy guidelines for disability categorization that will enable the registration of persons with disability much more easier, and even possible for it to be done at the county level. Ladies and gentlemen, we are commemorating this day. Besides, as we commemorate this day, besides, there is also COVID-19 vaccination which is going on. We shall also be having at the site voter registration and also fast-track registrations of persons with visual impairment and other disabilities. It is our desire that persons who are registered with disability use the benefits from the tax exemption to improve their rehabilitation status, like use of digital white cane and engagement of computer-assisted technology, so that they would be able to perform much better. Today we have digital or smart white canes which are able to detect objects on the way of a person using it and could even identify the levels of the ground. The white cane will vibrate and alert the user to explore slowly or seek support. The White Cane Day, and in line with the UN Convention, calls for equal opportunities for persons with visual impairment. It is possible, and we have seen that persons with blindness can be rehabilitated, enabling them to optimize their potential, working independently and be able to contribute significantly to the economy. We call upon the members of the public not to stigmatize persons using the white cane, but instead appreciate and encourage them and facilitate them for better independence. I take this opportunity to thank all partners in eye health and blindness prevention and rehabilitation for their efforts in ensuring that no one is unnecessarily blind, and for those who get irreversible blindness, that they are well rehabilitated to independence. A special mention to the Kenya Society for the Blind for all these efforts, and especially in spearheading the rehabilitations of the blind and having also improved the uptake of the white cane. Thank you very much.
Hiyo sio makofi mzuri kutoka kwa ministry, tafadhali. Piga makofi mzuri. Unajua tukiwa na madaktari lazima tunajua tuko safe. Tengeneza mkono, pige makofi mzuri sana. 1, 2, 3. Asante daktari. Thank you so much. Basi sababu niliita watu wa NEMA na pia wametuletea vitu hapa, hatuwezi tukawawacha. Nani anataka kusema? Ni wewe. Osha mkono. Vizuri.
Thank you, MC. My name is Esther Tege. I come from the National Environment Authority, and I am here on behalf of our Director General. He has sent us to be part of this celebration because we appreciate our brothers and sisters who are visually impaired, and we are here to be part of this celebration. We have come because to conduct their affairs in an independent manner. So we are here because we acknowledge that we are not all the same, but we can make it a better place for all the people with disability. So we congratulate you for this day, and I want to call my colleagues as we give out the white canes to the who are we?
Basi, just hold on. You don't be worried. We love Nema. Na Nema anasema ukikunywa soda, hiyo finiko ya chupa kama uwezi funika tena, weka kwa mfuko yako. Ujue pale utatupa. Usitupe hiyo, hiyo ni mali yako na usituachie hapa. At the same time, I'm being reminded na mheshimiwa ya kwamba it is also the day of National Day of Hand Washing. Continue washing your hands. Director, I will request you to come over. Wapi bwana Kago, somebody to come with the director. Mheshimiwa Pasaris, come over. Daktari Uluga, come over, so that they can also help. You can help him receive the devices from Nema. Thank you so much. Kuja upande hii. Wewe kuja simama namna hii. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Madam, come here. Very good. Yes. White canes ndio hizo, mapicha mzuri sana kutoka kwa Nema. Thank you. Director, leo una watu wako watatembea mzuri. Thank you. Wapige makofi tafadhali director akipokea, na daktari iko pale, mheshimiwa iko pale. Director, thank you so much. Nema, thank you so much on behalf of the director Nema. God bless you. Nipatie, weka upande hii. Weka hapa chini. Asante sana. Thank you. Basi tukiwa tunaendelea kwa haraka, ningeomba tafadhali, sababu wenzangu pia wanaenda. NFP, National Funds for People with Disability. Is there someone available? Please. Amerudi? Basi kama hajarudi, kama hajakuja Tanya, I'm told you'll be talking later with Mama. Mama will give you a chance to say something. Fine. Allow me at this particular juncture to welcome our director ambaye amepanga vizuri sana. Mtu mmoja, nani anasaidia director? Thank you. Haya, tengeneza mkono mzuri.
Our chief guests, Honorable Esther Pasaris, Nairobi Women Representative, Director of Medical Services, Nairobi Metropolitan Services, Dr. Ouma Oluga, Representative of the Ministry of Education, Dr. Fred Haga, as well as Dr. Gishangi, representing the Ministry of Health, the Chair, National Council for Persons with Disabilities, all protocols observed, including our fellow corporate members, all our stakeholders, and my fellow VIPs, visually impaired persons. Good afternoon. I will not wish to make a speech. I will only make a few remarks touching on this year's International White Cane Day that speaks to the theme of the 10,000K sites enabling independence among persons with visual impairments. Happy White Cane Day to all. Thank you very much. I want to take this opportunity to thank all participants of this year's International White Cane Day for recognizing the importance and the significance of this important tool and device that enables our movement from one point to another, enables our visibility by being identified by pedestrians, by motorists, so that we can get the necessary assistance as we are going about our businesses. To all those who have joined us in giving white cans, notably the National Government Affirmative Fund, who have come and assisted us with planning for this day, handing food packages, giving us white cans, the Insurance Regulatory Authority, for how they have stood with KSB over the last few years in providing medical camps to eradicate avoidable blindness, as well as giving assistive devices to schools for learners with visual impairments and supporting activities of raising awareness about visual impairment. We truly thank you, alongside UAP Old Mutual, who have donated today white cans and have also been supporting our medical camps. We also thank our partners in Huru Lions, a Youth Kenya, who have stood with us during the Corona period to provide white cans in different counties all over the country. Your contribution cannot be underemphasized. We feel overwhelmed by the support that we are seeing from even NEMA, G4S, Nairobi Metropolitan Services, Nairobi City County, Sports Kenya, as well as Silas Yukuli Lubric Foundation for coming through and supporting us in today's event. My message to persons with visual impairments is that we are on the right track as we try to advocate and lobby for acceptance and recognition of our rights, including the white cane which we celebrate today. We thank the government through the Ministries of Health, Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of Public Service, Gender, Senior Citizens and Special Programs, now where we lie with our State Department for Social Protection, for the far they have brought us. KSB in its strategic plan is working with our strategic partners to enhance rehabilitation, and we thank then the Ministry of Social Protection for allowing us to use the industrial rehabilitation centers to conduct our rehabilitation services so that we can reduce the price that we've always given to our visually impaired persons in terms of accommodation when they come to Nairobi to get training in computer, mobility and orientation, and other services. So we will shortly be using the industrial rehabilitation centers all over the country to perform this function, which we shall be given by the ministry, and which will cut down the cost that we've always been paying to have these important trainings. So I want to really thank you, and I want to now take this opportunity to wish us a happy, safe, and healthy International White Cane Day, and I want to encourage all of you to keep on assisting persons with visual impairment wherever you see them, but always ask them what is it that you want to do for them. Don't directly go and assist them without asking them, because you might be giving assistance where they have not requested. So let's all communicate, let's talk to each other, and let's celebrate this day. I want to welcome my chair, Madam Angela Wambui, who will greet us and invite the chair of the National Council for Persons with Disabilities. Madam Chair, welcome.
Madam Chair bado amekimbia kidogo kuletea Mheshimiwa Lote t-shirt. Basi wakati huo ningependa kwa hivi sasa, kama t-shirt itachelewa, niweze kukaribisha our CEO GAF Bwana Lote, ambaye mumeona hiyo chakula imekuja t-shirt. Oh, sorry. Basi wacha nichukue nafasi hii nikaribishe chairman wetu wa Bwana Peter. Wewe lazima ukuje watu wa kuone. Thank you very much sir. Saidia chair. Pigeni makofi kwa chair wetu mkubwa kabisa wa National Council for People with Disability. Thank you so much. Aha, pinduka hapo.
Thank you so much. Our chief guest, our women rep, who we love so much, Honorable Esther Passaris, the chair of KSB, the CEO of KSB, my friend Good Wabero, the CEO of NGAF, and distinguished guests, and my fellow persons with disability. Good afternoon. Habari zenu. Wacha niseme hivi. As a council, we are ready and we have been working close with KSB just to make sure that persons with visual impairment that they can get adequate and actually assistance that they deserve. One of the most important things I would like to say is that we usually talk about disability mainstreaming. What is disability mainstreaming in our country? And I've been told that even IEBC is here, right here at the back of this tent. But when you see where these people are registering us, it's not even accessible. What about the materials which IEBC is using to register persons with disability in this country? That is why they are giving us a statistic of 2017 of about 2,350 persons with disability in this country as voters. We cannot agree on that. We as persons with disability in this country, we believe we are about 6 million plus persons with disability in this country. And the statistic is very clear. Look at the statistic of Kenya Bureau of Statistics. About 350 are visually impaired in this country. How can you say watu 2,000 ndio wamekuwa registered kama wapiga kura katika hii nchi? So we would like to urge IEBC to make sure, and next week we are having a meeting with them, to make sure that the material which they are using is friendly to persons with disability. We need brails. Tunataka wale ambao waoni, we need those brails so that these people can be registered and they know who they are voting for. Yeah, how can you use a material which is not braille and our brothers and sisters, they can't see? That is the only avenue of communication. So as a council, we shall be making sure that IEBC will follow the law. Or as a council, we shall take them to court. Yeah, dispute this voter registration for us to be inclusive in this country. Another thing I would like to mention here today. This is a very, very special day for us. And indeed, I'm so happy. I'm happy to be part of this occasion. Because as persons with disability, this is one part of awareness in our country. Just to let people know, here in our country, a lot of roads are being built. Are those roads friendly to persons with disability? Look, a person using a weight cane. We need signals, yeah, which persons with disability can also associate with them. But we don't want, where roads are built, we don't have an accessible road and we end up having an accident of a person with disability kicked down by a car. We need accessible roads, accessible buildings, and this as a council is one of the core mandates. We know we shall be actually implementing this so that we can make sure that every person can move freely in this country. Another main issue is about persons with visually impairment. And I have seen my good friend here, Director Haga. He's a visually impaired person and he's a director under the Ministry of Education. We need even materials for persons with visually impaired actually to be replicated, and Ministry of Education, and I know you are here, Minister of Education, so that you can actually give these materials to persons with visually impaired. How do you expect persons with visually impaired to compete with other learners and they don't have those materials which are friendly to them? So as a council, we are pushing some of these agendas so that at least our people can be more inclusive in this country. Lastly, I would like to call upon my brothers and sisters who have disability and visually. to get vaccinated, because the government has agreed that us, we are special group, so that we can get vaccinated. Kindly take your vaccine. It's so important na inasaidia. So I would like to say, as a National Council, we shall be working closely with all stakeholders in this country just to make sure that the life of persons with disability in this country, it's a very favorable life. Thank you so much, and I'm pleasure to be this meeting. Asanteni sana.
Hiyo sio makofi ya mwenyekiti, tafadhali. Piga makofi kabisa rasharasha. Asante sana, Chairman. We really recognize your words, and they are words of wisdom. I will request the guest of honors to allow me to welcome Dr. Oluga from NMS, because he is also in a hurry and is having other works to do and is being called now and then. But right now, allow me to invite. Hebu piga makofi mzuri, moja, mbili, tatu. Tena. Karibu sana, daktari.
Thank you very much to all persons who are here, ambao ni wageni wetu, wale persons with eyesight disability, Mheshimiwa Pasaris, the CEO of NGAF, CEO of Kenya Society for the Blind, the Chairman of the National Council for Persons with Disability, all protocols observed, Tanya representing the partners who have supported us. Good afternoon. Habari zenyu. Sisi kutoka Nairobi Metropolitan Services ningependa kuwaleteni salamu wa Major General Lieutenant General saizi Mohamed Abdalla Badi, ambao ni Director General wa NMS. Mmepokea? Amefurahi sana na kazi ambayo imefanywa na amesema tuendelee hivi. The World White Cane Day has been celebrated since 1964, which means that it is as old as the country, Kenya. But the opportunities for persons that are living with eyesight disabilities are not as old as the country. Vile chairman amesema, bado kuna kazi ya kufanywa. Sisi kama Nairobi Metropolitan Services, na especially Directorate wa Health, we have assisted in assessing disability so that you get registration. And Chairman and the Ministry of Health, I want to thank you very much. Dr. Gishangi is here because this year, and Lincoln Kabanya is here. Lincoln, I think you should wave to people. Lincoln Kabanya is the one in charge of assessments of disability in the county. And we went round the county, kila sub-county, kuangalia wale ambao wako na disability. Na tukapata karibu 12,000 ambao tunaangalia, and about almost 100 of people who have disability with their eyesight. Na najua kuna wengi sana ambao bado hatujawafikia na tutawafikia. So sisi kama afya, we would like to assure you that we will do everything possible to make sure that we assess disability and enable you to be registered with the National Council for Persons with Disability so that you start accessing the opportunities that are there